Right then, lads, welcome back to Cossy's Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy. Arsenal have entered the race apparently for Franky de Jong. Lucas Paqueta has told Lyon he wants to leave. 60 million euros is what they're going to be asking for. Matt Turner is flying to London for his medical and is expected to finalize his deal before the 20th of this month. And new bids have been confirmed by James Bank for Yuri Tillemans and Scamacca as well. All that is going to be discussed in this video. If you can do us a favor, hit that like button. Let's get this video to 300 likes. Hit the like button and also subscribe to the channel. If we can get to 50,000 subscribers, you can see up there as soon as possible. That would be absolutely massive. But of course, now let's get our party started. Let's start off with the Franky de Jong news that I've just seen that story on Twitter dropping. Arsenal have actually entered the race to sign Franky de Jong with Manchester United. Now, the Franky de Jong story is very interesting because if you've been following it around Manchester United, of course I've been following it. I really want to see if United under Ten Hag will bring him in to the Premier League. The story is the player does not want to leave Barcelona. He wants to stay, but Barca do have a lot of financial issues. They do have a lot of financial problems. They cannot sign players. They cannot register players even on a free before selling some players. So Franky de Jong is being looked at one of the players that could actually leave at a very reasonable price. They're asking for around 80 million euros. Direct talks have been held between Manchester United and FC Barcelona, but there is no breakthrough. The player has not yet decided whether he will be leaving or he will be staying. Barca are ready to sell. They have already told the player, you're free to leave, you're free to go, but the player himself is not ready at the moment. He's not ready to leave FC Barcelona. So the big news and the big story around that, Arsenal have also entered that race for Franky de Jong. Of course, we are looking for a central midfielder. We're looking for a left central midfielder, and he can be very good. I think if you look at some of the very versatile midfielders on the market, Franky de Jong is one of them. He can play for you in that pivot. He can play for you as a single pivot as well. He can play for you as a centre back. Of course, if you don't have options, and he can also play for you on both wings or on both sides of the midfield as a left midfielder and also as a right midfielder. So Franky de Jong, obviously, I think the biggest story right now is him going to Manchester United. The way I look at this story is, I'm thinking Barcelona are trying to show that other clubs are interested in Franky de Jong so that they can push Manchester United to pay the 85 million euros they're actually asking for. I think it is more of Barcelona using Arsenal's name to try to threaten Manchester United that if you don't speed up, if you don't give us the money as early and as soon as we need it, other clubs are in need of the player and they're actually going to sign him. I don't see Arsenal spend 60, 80, 70, 85 million euros on a central midfielder. Look, I think Franky de Jong is worth it, but I don't see him moving to the Premier League. And of course, if he's going to move to a club away from Barcelona, I think he would want to move to a club that is at least competing in the UEFA Champions League. So with Arsenal not even qualified for that, I don't see us completing that deal. But Franky de Jong is one story I have for you at this very moment. Now the other story is around Lucas Paqueta. Lucas Paqueta has told Lyon he wants to leave. He wants to leave the club, and he wants to be sold. Lyon are not standing in his way. Obviously, they never stand in ways or in the way of a player who actually wants to leave. Of course, on the transfer radar, in terms of a central attacking midfielder, Lucas Paqueta and Yuri Tillemans have all been mentioned. Yves Bissouma has also been mentioned in terms of Arsenal getting in a new midfielder this summer. Lucas Paqueta, for me, lads, would be the best option for Arsenal. Lyon are asking for around 60 million euros, according to the reports I've been looking at. 60 million euros, that is a little bit high, but if Arsenal can enter into negotiations with Lyon, I think the price could drop to at least 55 or 50 million euros. But it is it is a deal that we definitely have to try. So James Bank has given us that update regarding Franky de Jong and Lucas Paqueta. So make sure you do always do follow me on Twitter, and also follow these journalists on Twitter so that you do not miss any upcoming updates. Now, James Bank still has given us an update on Matt Turner, the new goalkeeper that Arsenal signed in January, and he has confirmed that Matt Turner will be flying to London for his medical and will complete his transfer to Arsenal by June the 20th. Now, of course, today is the 9th of June, if I'm not really mistaken. Yeah, I'm not. So 9th of June. So in the next 11 days, Matt Turner will be announced as an Arsenal player. He's flying to London to complete his medicals, to complete his paperwork, and everything should be done by 20th of by the 20th of this month. Of course, I have told you everything there is to know about Matt Turner. We will do a video in-depth analysis about him, but the deal is structured that is coming in. It is structured. He's coming in on a permanent basis as Arsenal's number 2 goalkeeper. Leno was told to leave. He was actually he asked for permission to leave Arsenal, and he was told he can leave the club. So Matt Turner flying to London. Medical is scheduled to be to happen very, very soon, and also the transfer should be announced as early as the 20th of June. That should be done. So two done deals that we expect Arsenal to announce very, very soon as the window opens. Marquinhos from Sao Paulo and Matt Turner as well from America. Those are the two. I think the club is coming from is called the New England. I don't know why they're called the New England, but that is where it's coming from. Personal terms, deal, all those were agreed in January. So Arsenal are not working on this deal. They are just trying to finalize the deal and try to get it done. Now, the other updates from James Bank include 2 incoming bids for Scamacca and Yuri Tillemans. We'll start off with the one with for Yuri Tillemans, because I've reported about Yuri Tillemans in the recent video, and I've talked about the fact that David Onstein and Goal.com have actually made claims that Arsenal are very confident of making that deal happen this month. So according to James Bank, Arsenal have told the representatives of Yuri Tillemans that they will be making a bid next week. 31.5 million pounds is what I've seen quoted by James Bank. That is the price Arsenal want to pay for Yuri Tillemans. There is nothing to discuss more about that. But the other story around again Lucas Scamacca is what is actually very, very interesting. Now, according to James Bank, he said Edu has picked up interest. Personally, he's picked up interest in the player, and it is being believed that he's going to work on this deal until the end. First and foremost, let's talk about the bid that is being proposed that is being reported by James Bank. A couple of I think days ago, 2 days ago, we had Italian agent De Fonte confirming that Arsenal put in a bid. I finally found my statistics and got them right. 25 million euros is the bid that Arsenal initially put in for Scamacca, and it was actually rejected. So Sassuolo are looking at around at a price at least double that, 50 million euros. And De Fonte has said if Arsenal can put in 50 million euros, he's confident a deal will be struck between the two clubs. Now, James Spencer said Arsenal are preparing a new bid. We do not know how much it is, but we are preparing a new bid for Gianluca Scamacca. One thing I'm going to say about Scamacca is I've seen so many people write very big and huge and romantic reviews around him as a player. He's not played for so long in the Italian Serie A, and he's not played for so long on at the top level. But one thing I'm going to say around him is I think it brings a very different kind of dimension to Arsenal, especially if we bring in Gabriel Jesus. Jesus is non-physical. Jesus is not tall, so he doesn't give you the aerial ability, against players like Van Dijk. And of course, I've seen Virgil van Dijk speak about Darwin Núñez and Erling Haaland, and he has said when you play these kind of strikers, they're tall, they're huge, they're strong, they're fast. They make it very, very difficult for you as a defender. And that is the description that Gianluca Scamacca fits into. Tall, huge, fast, great hold-up play, and very, very physical. So if Arsenal bring him into the Premier League, he's not actually a guarantee that can give you 50 goals. 20 goals. 50, that is too much. But it's not a guarantee that can give you 20 goals per campaign, but he is a guarantee that can average at least 15 goals per campaign. Gabriel Jesus as well can average 15 goals per campaign. So if you add those two, you can get 30 goals in per campaign. Saka, probably 11 to 12 goals per campaign. If you can improve on that to make it 17, 18, even the better. And of course, Gabriel Martinelli will be coming around. I think Martinelli can average around 15 goals per campaign if we give him the time. So Scamacca bid incoming. We don't know how much the second bid is going to be. The first one was rejected. And the other story I wanted to talk about was Gabriel Jesus. And James Peng is saying that we are having new talks scheduled. This story has also been picked up by the Telegraph. The Arsenal have scheduled new talks with the representatives of Gabriel Jesus. Now, the reason is not to agree personal terms. Of course, everything has been agreed. The project, Arsenal have sold the project to the player, and the player has agreed to join the club. But the reason as to why Arsenal are trying to renegotiate with the representatives of the player and his camp, they're trying to push Gabriel Jesus to push for a move from Manchester City. What they're trying to do here, lads, for me is absolutely ridiculous from Arsenal. Absolutely ridiculous. We have agreed, we have agreed personal terms with the player. We have gone to Manchester City and we have had the price reduced for us. And now we are going back. I think what Arsenal are trying to do, they're trying to play mind games. They want to get Gabriel Jesus at the lowest price possible, probably 20, probably 30. But that is not going to happen in a transfer market where you have Spurs, Chelsea, Atletico Madrid, Barcelona, Madrid, Liverpool. All these clubs are looking for a new striker. And there is a bargain lingering and loitering around the streets. If Chelsea bid 45 million, if Chelsea bid 55 million for Gabriel Jesus, Arsenal, trust me, we are not going to like it. If they have UEFA Champions League football, they have a decent manager, and they are better players. They're a more attractive side. I do not understand why Arsenal want to keep on stalling, waiting for the price to drop and drop and drop. If you have a budget for around 50 million euros, get 45 million euros, put it on the table for Manchester City. They will not refuse it. In my knowledge, in my opinion, I think City are just waiting for any bid. If any bid arrives, whether from Leeds, whether from wherever the bid is going to be coming from, and that bid is in the region of 35 to 45 million euros, they're going to accept it. They've already spent 64 million pounds on Erling Haaland. If they can get 40 million pounds in a player like Gabriel Jesus, who is not banging in 20 goals per campaign, a player who is not actually tied to a long-term contract at the club, a player who wants to leave, if they can get half of what they paid for Erling Haaland, they're going to accept that. Arsenal just need to get serious and get that one done over the line. So Franky Young, Lucas Paqueta linked with Arsenal, Matt Turner flying for his medical, Scamacca and Tielemans bids confirmed to be coming in next week after the international break. That and more has been discussed in depth in the video. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast. 300 likes is our target on this one. Please do not let us down.